Welcome to the Get Real podcast. I'm your host, Tanika Meeks, and as promised, Get Real will be available on audio and video. The audio will be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. The videos will be available on Vimeo. A link to both will be on my website, www.tmgetreal.com. Today's episode is titled, Why Everyone You Date is a Psycho, by Mark Manson. Is from 2012. I picked this article because it correlates with something I said in episode 10, Living in Your Truth, about emotions and the dangers of emotional suppression. And this article has 5 key takeaways that I think people need to think about when it comes to emotional suppression. So I'm going to read the article to you, and then I'm going to discuss the 5 key takeaways. And then if you have any questions or comments, as always, feel free to leave them on my website. Now, I know we're all grown and we can all read and nobody wants to be read to, but I'm going to read you the article anyway. Again, Why Everyone You Date is a Psycho by Mark Manson. You can actually go check it out on his website, markmanson.net. Well, the short answer is, it's you. If every person you end up emotionally involved with is a psycho and finds a way to make your life hell, the only thing they all have in common is you. So start by looking at yourself. It's a common pattern. Quiet, reserved, nice. People that continually attract emotionally explosive and manipulative people into their lives. Why does this happen? And why does it seem to happen to the same people over and over again? It happens when you are uncomfortable with intimacy and expressing your emotions openly and honestly. This inability to express emotionally healthy intimacy will inadvertently narrow down your dating options to those who are equally as screwed up in their ability to maintain a healthy intimacy. Here are a few reasons why. Reason 1, their boldness counterbalances your inhibitions. If you are uncomfortable showing romantic interest, then you are immediately limiting your dating pool to only the boldest and most self-started among us. If you are particularly shy, inhibited, unclear about what you want, or weak in expressing your desires, then you are a prime candidate to get bulldozed by someone who is willing to push their own desires onto you. In a sense, it's your weakness that invites and attracts these selfish people into your life. Number 2, their emotional instability stimulates your suppressed emotions. People who are uncomfortable with expressing emotions suppress them in a few different ways. They numb themselves completely and feel indifferent towards others, or they rationalize reasons to avoid engaging others emotionally. In some circumstances, people will overcompensate by completely objectifying their relationships and sex life, rationalizing that they do not need to be emotionally connected to someone to date them. When you suppress your emotions and shun intimacy, the only people whose emotions are intense enough to break through are those who are emotionally unstable. By suppressing yourself, you unknowingly self-select for others who overexpress themselves. These people tend to get particularly hooked on overly emotionally unstable people because it allows them to experience their own emotions vicariously through the drama of the person they're with. 3, their addiction to drama makes you feel important. But what really gets emotionally suppressed people hooked is the drama. These psychos are always in a state of crisis. They're always the victim of something, and they always need to be saved from somebody or something. This makes you feel important and needed. 2 things you've rarely felt so acutely before. Because you've gone through life suppressing intimacy and keeping your relationships as superficial as possible, inadvertently, the emotionally unstable psycho will find a way to turn on you. Any peace and equanimity you work for, they will find a way to sabotage it. Because the sick truth is that always being in a state of emotional crisis makes the other person feel important as well. Their fear is the same as yours, that you're unimportant. But they achieve it through an equal and opposite strategy, drama. And so the over-emotional, under-emotional duo enter into a toxic, unconscious dance of victim and savior, oscillating between giddy euphoria and abject misery. These crazy people almost always end up leaving you, as you may have found out the hard way, like I did. As time goes on, you're willing to sacrifice more and more of your own identity to fix their emotional problems, to the point where you lose any ability to think or choose for yourself whatsoever. This destroys the other's attraction for you, as people who have no self-worth are the epitome of unattractive. At this point, the only way to keep the crisis flowing is by seeking out another person to complicate things. These people are naturally drawn to love triangles, especially with themselves being the point between two other people. Love triangles provide endless fuel for their need for drama, and it also provides endless fuel for the suppressed person's need to rescue or win over the other person. So, while these psychos are responsible for their own behavior, if you are consistently bringing them into your life by your emotional suppression, then it's your own fault. That to me is a good read. I really do like this article. So let's discuss my 5 takeaways from this article. The first one being that your emotional suppression narrows down your dating options. Now, don't confuse that with having standards. Standards are a conscious decision. We consciously decide what our standards are, whether we want a tall man, whether we want a fit man, whether we want a man who makes a certain amount of money, a man who's in a certain tax bracket, a man with no kids, a man with 1 or 2 kids. Standards are something we consciously choose to do. What he's talking about in this article is making unconscious decisions. So by you suppressing your emotions, that's unconsciously narrowing down your dating options, because you're looking for people who are broken because you're broken. So those are 2 different things. Standards is something you choose to do consciously. Emotional suppression makes those decisions for you unconsciously. So I wanted to make sure I clarified that. 2, it's our weakness that invites and attracts these selfish people into our lives. Now, I understand the word weak has a lot of negative connotations. Nobody wants to be seen as being weak. I understand that. But the truth of the matter is, we all are weak. We all are weak in some area of our lives, and there's no way around it. And weakness should not be seen as this, you're weak, you're soft. We're human. And weakness is a part of being a human being. And it needs to stop being frowned upon to have weaknesses. Not everybody's Hercules. Not everybody's out here saving the world. Some of us are simply weak when it comes to certain areas of our life. But it's one thing to be weak and know that you're weak in an area of your life. It's another thing to be weak because you're making these unconscious decisions that are causing weakness in your life. So for me, the reason I picked this article is because up until a year ago, this article really was who I was. I was doing everything that was in this article. I was unconsciously going out and seeking people who were bad for me. If some of you have been listening to this podcast for a while, I told you my first love suffered from narcissistic personality disorder. I was a classic case of this, looking for people to come and save me from my life. And those people were very easy to identify because they identify with my weakness. The thing about weaknesses is other people see our weaknesses and they take advantage of them. Now, that's not something that makes us sleep well at night. But the truth of the matter is, it happens. When you meet somebody, you may not know it, but you pick up on their weaknesses. I have met men, and within an hour of talking to them, I can tell you about 1 or 2 of their weaknesses. Our weaknesses are always on display for other people. But what you don't want is someone coming into your life, taking advantage of your weaknesses and using those weaknesses to hurt you. That's what you don't want. It's okay to be weak, but don't allow someone to take advantage of your weaknesses. And number 3, these cycles are always in a state of crisis. Have you ever met somebody, I know a couple people like this, who are always in a state of crisis? Like their life is just full of drama. There's always something going on. There's always some type of crisis that they need to be saved from, or they need someone to come in their life and intervene because of some type of foolishness that is going on. And these people to me are exhausting. Drama-filled people to me personally are exhausting. Like, they just drain all your energy. But some people thrive, they live off of drama. And that's what he's talking about in this article, that these psychos, as we call them, are just drama-filled people. They thrive off of drama. And emotionally suppressed people are attracted to these people like a moth to a flame, because they get to come in and save these people from all these crazy crises that are going on in their life. And that's what you don't want. You know, we all need someone to come in our life and be a part of our life, or sometimes come in our life and assist us with things in our life. But what you don't want to do is come into somebody's life and play Captain Save-A-Ho to them all the time. Like, that should not be your role in somebody's life, to constantly save them from themselves or some unknown crisis that is going on, or some unnecessary drama that they have in their life. You know, if you find yourself with somebody who's always in a state of crisis or always got too much drama going on, break up with their ass. Seriously, walk away. That is not how you want to live. Nobody's out here with the cape on talking about Captain Save-A-Ho, and that should not be the role you play in somebody's life. So number 4, people who have no self-worth are the epitome of unattractive. Now, this is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, but I'm about to get real with you. This is that whole suffering for love thing, and why in today's society, suffering for love seems to be the hot thing. You know, stay with your man if he cheats on you, stay with your man if he beats on you, stay with your man through, you know, riding or dying for your man, and all this foolishness that is going on. The truth of the matter is, that's not attractive, first. But that the more you forgive somebody, the more you allow someone to hurt you and you stick around, the less respect they have for you. And that's simply the truth. You would think it would be the very opposite, that, hey, I'm sticking through this person through thick and thin, I'm riding it down with this person. You would think they would think you were some goddess. But the reality of it is, the more hurt that you accept from somebody, the less worth you have to them, and the less respect they have for you. And so this whole suffering for love thing, don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not attractive, and you should not have someone in your life who is constantly hurting you. I cannot stress that fact enough. You should not have someone in your life who is constantly hurting you. You should not have to suffer to have a partner. That's not what love is. And I know in today's society, it's immortalized. It's put on this pedestal like you're doing something big. Oh, I'm riding it down for my man. Ride or die for Jesus. That's it. If you're not riding it down for what you believe in, then you riding it down for all the wrong reasons. You should not stand by a man while he literally crushes your soul. That's stupid, first of all, and it's unnecessary. If someone is doing something that you don't want done, walk away. It's that simple. Don't allow somebody to unnecessarily hurt you. And that's what he's talking about in this article. People, if they have no respect for you, then honestly, you're not worth anything to them. And if you have no self-worth, then they're going to basically treat you any old damn type of way. And that's not cute. Don't allow somebody to devalue you. Don't allow somebody to rob you of your self-worth. Don't allow somebody to rob you of your self-respect. And number 5, we bring these psychos, crazy people, and drama into our lives. The truth of the matter is, if there's drama in your life, you're allowing it. If there's a psycho in your life, you're allowing it. We are the gatekeepers to our life. So anything that is going on in your life, trust me, you're allowing it. Nobody can force themselves into your life. Somebody can't can't force you to allow them into your life. If someone's in your life causing drama and chaos, you're allowing it. You either like it or you don't like it, but you're putting up with it. So you have to realize, when it comes to your life, you have to take accountability and responsibility for what happens. And so if you have a psycho in your life, or a crazy person, or whatever label you want to give them, realize you're entertaining that shit, and you're allowing them to bring all that chaos into your life. They can't force you. I mean, I understand there are stalkers out there and people who sometimes refuse to leave other people alone. But the majority of people, once you tell them, hey, I'm done with you, They go on about their life. They're not about trying to stalk you or force their way back into your life. I mean, if you break up with me, I'm gone. I'm not gonna sit and blow your phone up. I'm not gonna sit outside your house. I'm not gonna be calling you all times of day and night. So just realize when it comes to your life, you're responsible for what happens, and you're responsible for who you allow into your life. So if there are crazy people, drama, chaos, you're allowing that shit, and you might be okay with that, and that's fine. But if you're not okay with that, then you need to make the appropriate changes and get those people and that drama out of your life. And so those were my 5 key takeaways from this article. Why everyone you date is a psycho.